yeah, Texas best.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing a little bit of driving, so I thought I would do kind of a Q&A. Basically grilled a lot about cost for building. One person was saying, you know, what are the advantages of building this way? I absolutely love the style. I love everything about it. Why would it be better to build a Barndominium as opposed to a conventional frame house? I had another guy that said, I've always heard that Barndominiums are cheaper, so based on your cost video, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are cheaper. So what are the advantages of building a Barndominium? First of all, let me preface this with this, that there's a lot of misconceptions about Barndominiums being cheaper, also maybe being more expensive, if that's your assumption. It all comes down to style, preference of style. And I would say this, if you love everything about the Barndominium, if you love the idea, that you love the shop mixed with living, you love having all of that brought together in the style and the nature and the way that it is done, then building a Barndominium, that's the advantage to build what you want. There's a lot of different reasons. Number one, advantages. Having your stuff close by, whether it be your shop, let's say you're a welding fabricator, or let's say you like to work on cars, or you're retiring and you want to have all your ATV stuff right there close by. So that's one advantage. Number two might be space that you can create with the shell of a metal style building, which is different than your conventional framing. Your conventional framing, you're not going to get near as durable of a product by doing stick frame as you would with the steel frame and then the wood attached. Thirdly, I would say the advantage is to be able to easily create a envelope with the insulation surrounding the build without having all the cut up and the different shapes. A lot of these are energy loss and dead zones is what I would call them. Another advantage, especially for single dwelling, is the main weight of your structure is on a lot of your exterior perimeter, with the exception of, say, where you might put a fireplace or something like that. So, you know, that's why it's been so popular in the past for people to just build a shell and all of their major weight goes on the exterior walls, and then everything on the interior is kind of light load. On our builds, every slab that we build is an engineered foundation. So you'll see this waffle-like pattern that is put in to our foundation, which is basically deep grade beams that are 12 by 24 inches deep, and then footers for all of the vertical columns. So I would say one of the major advantages next is the energy efficiency that you can create in the predictable shape of your product with the insulation and spray foam going all the way around. A lot of times what you're doing is you're trading your brick and mortar for efficiencies. Let's say you spent the same kind of money on a conventional style house. You had just as much square footage on the inside, but when it was all said and done, because of the money that you trade from having, say, brick and mortar, you put on the envelope, the energy efficiency, the air tightness, you know, taking all these methods approach, maybe going with the higher SEER HVAC system, ERV system, you know, going to those lengths would help you to have less money on the maintenance as far as the monthly expenses. A lot of people don't take into consideration those advantages. So you may pay the same amount of money on the front end, but your day-to-day operations or your expenses are actually less. Some of the other advantages are obviously the style. I mean, a lot of people love it for some people, Barndominium's not for them. They want, you know, a different feel, a different look. I would say this: you don't have to limit the term Barndominium to the exterior shell being metal. Like with the way that we build, we could technically achieve doing brick and mortar on the outside as well. We could do stone. We could do a mixture of EIFS and stucco. You know, there's ways that you can enhance or change the style when it's all said and done. At the end of the day, you're talking about building custom home versus maybe buying something that's already in the rhythm. Spec builders or somebody who's building a lot of the same plan, or, you know, obviously those are priced according to a predictable environment. Building a Barndominium is not a predictable environment. It is something that it takes some special coordination to build a Barndominium. So, I mean, in some ways it's more difficult because of all of the added steps. You know, it would be easier for me technically if I wanted to go build a home to build a conventional style home. You know, you think about it. Pour the concrete, bring out my wood framers, do the wood framing, dry it in, put the roof on, start on the exterior immediately, and windows, all that kind of stuff. I mean, all that can just lock in. Well, in our case, especially when we have shops, there's more coordination involved. Like we have to do our steel framing, then we have to come back, coordinate doing our wood framing. So there's another added step there alone that takes special coordination. And a lot of times we'll do our roof separately from our walls so that we can get our windows in there, you know. But everything has its challenges, let's put it that way. But ultimately, the advantage of building a Barndominium is that's what you want. I hope this really helps with the discussion. If there's additional questions you guys might have, put it down in the comments below. If you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, hope you'll do that now. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Josh Helm, wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching Texas Based.